of New Jersey, to our fellow co-sponsor Socialist Party New Jersey, and to all the organizations that offered their endorsements, thank you. Brothers and sisters, today marks 5 years since the Occupy Wall Street movement walked into downtown and refused to leave. 5 years ago today, I was one of the people who arrived at Zuccotti Park, frustrated with the status quo, tired of being ignored, and ready to lie down where 99% of us are usually unwelcome. The proportions our movement would eventually achieve were completely unimaginable that first night. And despite its inability to withstand the harsh repression it faced, the revolt we started is still far from over. We're here in Red Bank today because many of us know our political system has failed to respond appropriately to what may be the most grave social and economic threat humanity has ever faced. 2014 was the second hottest year on record. 2015 was the hottest. And 2016 is on track to be hotter still. And yet there has been no meaningful action to slow down the dumping of greenhouse gases into our atmosphere. Why not? There are a few things we need to acknowledge about this struggle. The first is that the fossil fuel industry, because they control the energy supply, they have the capacity to willfully disrupt the economy of any nation that proposes to interfere with their profits. The second thing that we need to acknowledge is how fragile many of these companies are. Because the day we tell Shell and ExxonMobil and BP that the reserves on their books need to stay in the ground is the day Wall Street cashes out. Not slowly, over time, or in an orderly manner, but all at once, the minute investors realize that the shares they're holding will never be more valuable tomorrow than they are today. That's why this industry has spent decades funding misinformation campaigns to confuse the public about the science. And that's why they will continue to fight any reform. There is no changing the hearts or minds or moral compasses of fossil fuel executives, because the rules of capitalism demand that they protect this house of cards from the winds of change. No matter what the science says, and no matter what we say, they will continue to remind our political leaders that their companies are too critical to fail. So what do these realities mean for us? It means we must break the rules of capitalism. Socialist alternative calls for taking the big energies out of private control and into democratic public ownership. That way we can make the massive public investments we need to rapidly transition off fossil fuels, expand our public transportation system, and guarantee workers in polluting industries retraining and new living wage jobs. When Naomi Klein addressed Occupy Wall Street in fall of 2011, she said, "We have picked a fight with the most powerful political and economic forces on the planet." And she was almost right. Almost. Because brothers and sisters, the third thing we need to understand about this struggle is that there is a force that has gone toe-to-toe with the fossil fuel industry in the past and won. And that force is the working class. There was a time in this country when if you dug coal out of the mines for a living, there was a good chance you lived in a company house and shopped at a company store. On Sundays, you went to a church built by the company and listened to sermons delivered by a minister who was hired by the boss to keep your morals in check. The doctor was a company doctor. If there was a schoolhouse, the company hired the teacher. And the whole of law enforcement, the sheriffs, the marshals, the judges, All of them were picked by the mine owners. And yet, the working class fought back. By their tens of thousands, coal miners walked off the job. When they were evicted from their houses, they set up encampments. When the bosses tried to bring in replacement workers, they blocked the roads. When they were attacked by military troops and the private armies of those mine owners, they defended their class with their lives. And powerful as the coal magnates were, the workers pushed them back. They won the 8-hour workday, dignified wages, safety regulations that forced those companies to recognize that ordinary people's lives are not expendable. None of these victories were simply handed down from on high by benevolent progressives. And none of them happened just because workers happened to rise up one day spontaneously. It took years of building strong organizations, testing out strategies and tactics to see what worked, training leaders who could apply those lessons at crucial moments. Brothers and sisters, this is how we solve the climate crisis. By refusing to give the two big business parties any more of our time, money, or energy. By developing powerful grassroots movements of workers, students, and oppressed people working to lift each other up. And by creating a rationally planned socialist economy that puts people and our planet first. What we're doing here today is a start. Let's deliver the strongest possible vote for Jill Stein in November to create momentum for independent candidates going forward. Let's raise the confidence of the working class by winning a $15 minimum wage. Let's stand with the movement for Black lives against racist police violence. And with the Native people heroically resisting the Dakota Access Pipeline at Standing Rock. Let's call on our unions, our membership organizations, and our community groups to find the courage to break with the corporate establishment and build a new party of the 99%. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Solidarity.